can be a game that gets you hurt or even killed. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. We are here tonight officially reviewing Hard Eyes, which opened today in theaters here in the United States. But before we get into the video, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Make sure to check me out on all the social media pages. And without further ado, let's get into it. This is definitely a movie that has its ups and downs. But overall, it is a very interesting movie for the hour and a half that you were sitting in theaters. Now, what made this movie very intriguing going in was you're going to see a slasher film that seems intriguing. Now, one thing that I will say is you don't necessarily have a lot of slashing, but you do have a story that ultimately makes sense. And the ending definitely kind of is predictable, but it doesn't make it worth or make it a bad movie at the end of the day. In this film, we have a Valentine's Day slasher that is going around killing couples, and we ultimately get a focus on Allie and Jay, not from a romantic side, but from a relationship standpoint of being friends and ultimately having to fight off Hard Eyes. Now, as you watch this movie, you kind of have to realize that it is a Valentine's Day themed film. And so the romance and the feelings of love there are going to be present. And so when you're watching it, you cannot turn away from the feeling of love, because once you do, that is where Hard Eyes is going to attack. Now, opening night, I don't expect a large crowd, but there was an okay amount of people in our theater, and it really was just to digest what we are seeing. Now, as the film goes on, I think they did a really good job of highlighting the relationship standpoint of Allie and Jay, but ultimately highlighting at the end why Hard Eyes does what he does. And so if you're expecting a thrasher movie that's going to leave you on the edge of your seat, this necessarily is not it. But I think they did a great job of really focusing on a central storyline. And so when you're watching this movie, you don't feel lost. You feel like you understand what's going on. You understand the threat of Hard Eyes. You understand the violence that is going to take place. And that's what keeps you engaged. And so I think that is a big successful point that the movie highlights, is that when you are watching it, the story actually flows very nice with what you are seeing on screen. There is not a point in this movie where you feel lost. And if you have seen any recent slasher movies or any movies that have a serial killer, a lot of times that is the case. It seems like it is just thrown together for the story of a killer on the loose. Now, what I think this movie could have done a little bit better with is providing that violence, providing that substantial edge of your seat feeling where you feel like, in a sense, you don't know what is going to happen. But even with the predictability in some circumstances, it does not take away from this movie. Overall rating for Hard Eyes, I'm going to have to go a 4.1 out of 5. I think it is a very solid start to the horror movie category. I think it does provide enough entertainment where you don't feel bored. And I think, like I've said before, some movies this year have already started off with a slower pace, but also either too short or too long. This just felt right. When you think you know the movie is going to end, it doesn't end, and that is where the twist comes in. And what I really appreciate, in a sense, is that they did not necessarily lead to there being a sequel. Now, I left before the end credits, so there is a possibility that that is the case. but it leaves you with a satisfied customer from a movie review perspective. And it is definitely worth the money to go see. So Hard Eyes is out now. If you are interested in a slasher movie, this is up your alley. If you're interested in kind of that love meets gore, this is definitely one too. But Hard Eyes did not disappoint. I was a little worried at the beginning, but it finished strong and it was a good movie. So make sure to go check out the other reviews I have posted. Make sure to go check Hard Eyes out. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, and I will talk to you all later.